Hello everyone, welcome back to Creative Shelf, and you're joining me for Vlogmas days 25 to 27. Yes, I'm participating in the challenge hosted by Brian over at Papa Squirrel here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. And yes, I've nearly made it through 3 weeks. Before I proceed, let me just give you the weather update. It has been raining and cold today. Tomorrow it's going to be raining more. So here voila, it is Brussels. But without further ado, let me just do the prompts for Saturday, Sunday, and today's Monday. And before I forget as well, whatever you did over at the weekend, whether or not it was a celebration for you or maybe a quiet time, whatever it was, I hope it has been a lovely weekend for you. So prompt number 25 is, what are you grateful for today? Well, of course, this was the Christmas Day prompt, right? And I am back with the trusted Lightseers Tarot. Let's see what it's showing me. I mean, what am I grateful for today? What am I grateful for? Let me have a look at that again. Is it for what I'm grateful for? You know, what I'm grateful for in terms of reflection over the whole year has been just, I think this year I've had to look at some things which I did need to let go of. And I'm grateful for it. Of course, you know, hindsight is everything. But when we're going through it and it's painful, it's not very nice. But I'm really, really grateful that, you know, before I pull a card, I just want to say I'm really, really grateful for all the tools and the people and the support that I've needed to come through this. Sometimes it's not about having a whole community or a huge amount of people. I sometimes believe it can be just a small inner circle, but just those persons are enough, you know, in terms of just saying, you can do this, you can get through this, you can learn through it, can take the lessons, count my blessings, all that stuff. I mean, you know, you don't need to hear it from me. But basically, I think my gratitude right now is actually for everything that's in place that's helping me. But in terms of, let's see what the Lightseers has to say, because I always believe, well, since I've been using this deck, I believe that this deck sometimes has some great insights. So, come on, Lightseers. What is my gratitude about this year? Let's show me. So it's given me the 8 of Swords, and that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. I am grateful for seeing that I'm knotting myself up into chains, that I'm tying myself up, that I'm giving myself a hard time. And actually, I'm free. You know, the reflection shows me chained up, but actually when I look up and look up at the light, I'm pretty free. And this is such a good card for release. It's such an amazing card, and so well done. So yeah, this really sums it up, and it hits the nail on the head, as they would say. Okay, so prompt number 26. What tarot deck has gotten you through this year? Now this was a good one because I was like, well, what happens is, because I'm doing the monthly reviews, I am swapping around my tarot decks every month. So I was like, well, I haven't actually had a tarot deck that I've used, like, always going back to all the time throughout the year. And then I realized, no, I do actually have a tarot deck that I've done that with, but I do it for my moon readings. And that is the Tarot of the She. So it's more like a deck that has been consistently I've been working with every month, because I do my full moon readings and my new moon readings using this deck. Now, what's the interesting part of this was, and I've just dropped a whole load of cards, hold on for a second. What the interesting part of this whole question was, I'll tell you something about the Tarot of She, which was that I was thinking recently, like, okay, we're coming to the end of the year. So I was thinking, well, I'll have a different deck for next year, for 2022, for my moon readings, you know, change it up a bit, try something new. And I'm definitely thinking of it. It's not like, you know, anything's been ruled out. But as a thought crossed my mind, I kid you not, I had the She come into my mind, and I was always looking at a card, and it was just almost like she was looking at me going, where do you think I'm going? I love this deck. I love the Fate energy. I love everything about it. I think Emily Carding is an amazing illustrator and creator, and I love her poems in the guidebook. I sometimes put the poem of one of the cards with my full moon or new moon reading, because I love everything about this deck. I like the fact that sometimes it's very hard hitting. Sometimes it's not that it's unkind, but sometimes it has I feel this energy of warrior and air and fire, even though it has everything. It has the earthy elements, it has the water elements, and it's a very well balanced deck. But sometimes I feel like it's the energy of that Queen of Wands, of that, like, I'm going to speak up and tell you. And it's almost like, okay, thanks for letting me know. I'm just going to pull a card randomly from the Tarot of the She, just because I want to. You know, it's a deck that I have been regularly working with, and it's almost like, you know, she accompanies me, basically. She accompanies me, especially when I feel, you know, that change of the moon coming. I'm a bit of a werewolf. There you go. So what is she giving me today? Oh, wow. She's giving me Dancer Princess, Gift of Passion. Wow. This is definitely a very inspirational deck. That's the best way I can put it. If you're someone that wants to work with, like, do ink drawings, do line drawings, do some form of creativity, even doing drawings with your left hand, just, you know, I've done that sometimes. I've done drawings with my left hand just to see what happens. You know, this deck is amazing because it's such a creative flow. It's just got such a creative flow for it. Like, it's a muse for me as well. Like, this deck makes me think, and it's beautiful. So just such a beautiful card. So you see, I'm meant to be changing decks, but I've got a feeling that might be a bit tricky with this deck. What I like to do with this particular copy is get a second copy, and then with this one is trim the rest of the borders off. So it becomes just more, it really is then just a muse, intuitive reading. Sometimes maybe I'll know what that card is representing. Sometimes it might be a bit difficult. I just want to use it intuitively because it's such a beautiful deck, but I also want a second copy in case I want to use it as a tarot deck specifically. So, you know, I say this again and again, there's a lot of people who just, they use the tarot deck as just tarot. I'm like, it is so much more. It's a muse, it's a creativity space. It's a space where you can just take, you know, any card. For example, you can take a card like this, beautiful colors, and use that to look at kind of like your energies for that day. You can use it to pick colors that you're going to wear. You can use it for artistic, you know, just doing a drawing of your own, but bringing these colors into it. You can use it as a way to draw orbs. I mean, it's just decks like these, I think, just, you know, for me, I could write all about my thoughts around, you know, being a mother or not being a mother, being a child or being a daughter. Like, you can just take so many of the symbols in one card. Pregnancy, you know, this is really about pregnancy, but there's the mountains at the back and then the sun coming up. So, you know, what is hidden? Where do I want to travel? There's just so much within one card that can be used for storytelling, for your own imagination. And the other thing that I think that this deck is great for is to use as a portal into another deck. So to pull one card out of this and then do a spread with a whole nother deck. And I think that is an amazing way to use this deck because it has so much potent energy per card. Okay, so that's me talking about the Tarot of She. I'm not sure I would say it's gotten me through the year, but it has been walking with me a lot through this year. And the other deck, which of course you all know, which I absolutely love, is of course the Everyday Witch. Again, you know, I only used her in September really because that's when I actually opened the box and started to use the Everyday Witch, which had been sitting on my shelf though for like 9 months before that. So that says a lot, doesn't it? 10 months. But you know, this is a deck that is really like my go-to in the sense of personal issues, of looking at things from my past, of being able to have a deck help me see things, but in a way that's gentle and forthright and kind, and with guidance and with direction, with solutions. Helps me to trust myself a lot more. Just helps me to look back and be able to do that without the rose tinted glasses, because sometimes we look back but we might make things in a way that they weren't, to be quite honest with you. And this deck helps me to just nudge me a little bit and say, you know, like, are you really seeing things honestly? That's what it asks me. Yeah, it's a deck, just, you know, just it has every emotion that I need to tap into. I am looking forward to getting the Oracle because I think it'll just be more illustrations for me to use and to bond with. It is an amazing deck. I've spoken about, I think it's like, I know this deck now comes out nearly every video, so I'm going to stop doing that. But, you know, it just is a deck that shows me I can free myself. I mean, look at the Eight of Swords that I had from the Light Seers, which was amazing. And again, the Eight of Swords here it's showing me, you know, that all the tools that I need are there. I can unbind myself. And on top of that, like, you know, I've got my witch's tools just ready. You know, it's more about me taking that step forward, you know. So yeah, I just really love this deck, and I think this deck will be heavily used for personal issues and personal growth next year. And I think the Light Seers as well, actually. I think that's not gonna get put away. That deck I think seasonally or at times will definitely be coming into use. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. Okay, so that was Everyday Witch. And then the next one was, what are your biggest wins this year? I don't know. I don't think of so much. I don't know what my wins of this year are. Maybe being able to do this channel. My biggest win, I think, is knowing when to walk away, which is what, you know, that Eight of Swords, untying myself. My biggest win of this year has been to continue my growth, but sometimes taking a whole new direction. And yeah, I'm finding joy sometimes in the things that I do instead of, you know, yeah, I just really love the fact that, you know, it's okay to love tarot, it's okay to love oracle decks, it's okay to love books and talk about them and enjoy them. And, you know, that's difficult sometimes for some of us because we've grown up in an environment where that's not very normal. So, yeah, just, you know, I guess my wins have been for me to just not be so, you know, not let the fear get to me of creating videos and posting, I guess, and all of that stuff. Okay, so what does the Light Seers tell me? Oh, it says justice. Interesting. Perhaps it's helping me to learn how to balance myself a little more, balance the scales, allow myself to have clarity, to see the truth. My biggest win, actually, one of the biggest wins definitely this year has been to allow myself to see things for as they are and to not hide anymore, or yeah, that clarity. Whenever I think of justice, I think of that sword, and I think of it like when it goes upwards, you know, it's such a sword that's so straight. And I think of justice, and I also think of the High Priestess, because of course they're linked numerologically. So I always think of that energy, that flow that happens, you know, through the body, through the mind, through the body, right down to my feet, and then roots me to the ground. And that is for me a really important energy for me to be aware of, actually, physically, not just mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but physically as well, to align my back, to align the whole body so that I do get that flow. I do yoga a few times a week, as well as the running and so forth. So, and I do some cardio, and it's just been so important for me to learn how to balance my body, because otherwise I can have an injury, which has happened definitely. But yeah, this justice card is reminding me actually that perhaps my biggest win this year has been that alignment, and that to see the truth, and to start balancing things up. You know, it's perspective as well, because when I don't see things clearly and I don't have that perspective, you know, the scales tip, and then, you know, I'm in murky waters. Gorgeous card, absolutely beautiful. Thank you for joining me today. You can see I'm very much in my holiday mood and spirit right now. I've had a day of just doing some things on my PC, and I'm looking forward to just winding down now and maybe having a chat with some friends or something online, but just really just winding down a little bit as well. I really like this week of the year. I think I've mentioned it several times, so I'm just taking advantage of that. And I wish you all a lovely day or evening wherever you are. I will see you soon, and thank you for joining me for Vlogmas. Take care now. Bye.